Hi, hello. It's Friday night. It's 8 o'clock on a Friday night. It's HypnoBirthing Facebook Live. I'm Sophie, and my dear friend and colleague and HypnoBirthing teacher Tracy will be joining us. So tonight's HypnoBirthing practice, how to do it, what it's all about. Just wait for Facebook to do its magic and share. And if you are watching and you are pregnant and you're expecting a baby, then please share this out. I'm going to welcome a fellow teacher, Tracy, now, add her, and we're going to work on this together. So the idea is that we are going to go through hypnobirthing and how to practice. So I'm just going to invite Tracy on. Friday nights have got a bit more chilled out, right? If you're sitting at home watching this. Hi, Tracy.
Hello.
So please, Tracy, would you like to say a few words about yourself, your wonderful self?
Yes, of course. Hello, good evening, everybody. So I'm Tracy. I'm a hypnobirthing teacher based in North London, Islington. I teach groups as well as private courses as well, in the comfort of your own home. So whatever your circumstances are, my classes can be tailored to fit your needs. And I've been teaching hypnobirthing probably for about 5 years now. And I love it. And I enjoy having the opportunity to speak with you all today and share some tips with Sophie.
Yeah, that's the goal. We want to share our tips. And the other person who's on the Facebook Live tonight is my daughter, Megan, who's at the moment quite contented. We're a few minutes late starting tonight. My apologies. That's because I had a last minute baby change. So yeah. Okay. So I noticed on our Facebook hypnobirthing group that we've got a lot of people asking about practice, and some people setting the bar very high and doing a lot of stuff, and other people just not knowing where to start. So, Tracy, why do we bother practicing hypnobirthing? What's the point?
Yeah, good question. So obviously in practicing hypnobirthing, the main idea behind it essentially is that you're preparing yourself, you wish to prepare yourself for a calm and more confident birth experience. And why do we need to practice? Why is it not something that we just do once, go to a class, learn techniques, do it once and that's it? Basically, practice makes perfect, essentially. She's really chatty. Yeah. I'm loving it. Practice makes perfect. So one of the things that hypnobirthing helps with is reframing any negative feelings or ideas that we may have seated in our minds regarding pregnancy and birth and the rest of it. And reframing takes work. So it's not a one-off activity. It's something that you work on over the duration of your pregnancy to deal with any worries that you may have. Okay. Another one of the reasons that we practice is because basically we want to have these techniques be second nature to us. So when you reach the fantastic birthday, when you're in labour, when you're preparing to welcome your little one into the world, you don't want to be scrabbling around looking through a book or a folder or, looking for some MP3s to remember what it is you can use to help you feel calm and relaxed. You want those things to be so ingrained that you just slip into them in the same way that your body picks up and does what it's doing. Your mind can also pick up those techniques that you're now so comfortable with, and just take yourself to where you need to be. So that's why we practice. That's why it's not just a one-off thing that you learn one day and go off and pack it away until your baby gets here.
Yeah, that's not what I would consider actually being a hypnobirther. You've got to put the time in terms of practice to get better outcomes, I suppose. So that when you do go into labour, you're excited about it. You're joyful. There's happiness. There's a positive buzz and a vibe. You're like, finally, been a really tough pregnancy. And you're like, finally, this is the easy bit compared to the pregnancy. Let's crack on. That was my story with little Meg. So for those of you just joining, thank you so much for watching. Share. I'm Sophie from Calm HypnoBirthing. This is Tracy Atware from Sankova HypnoBirthing, and we both admin on the HypnoBirthing, Facebook HypnoBirthing group, almost 10,000 people on there now. So thank you so much. And tonight we are talking about practice. So we know why we do it. And then the next thing we're thinking about is how long should it take? How long should it take when we practice? Tracy, go on, give me your take on that.
That's a good one. It's a very common question as well, and I would usually say basically as much as you can. However, on the other hand, it doesn't need to take hours. I think sometimes people worry that, you know, I've got this long list of things to be doing and how much time can I dedicate to them, and then sort of find themselves in a bit of a tizzy to the point where they almost feel like, well, I can't do it all, so I won't do any of it, which is so not what we want to happen. I think with anything, doing little but often is far more effective than doing kind of, you know, hours once a week or once every other week. In terms of what I advise my clients, obviously they've come to a class because they want to use these techniques. They want to have them help them as they're preparing for their baby's birth. So I would recommend trying to fit practice in a couple of times a day, especially when it comes to things such as the breathing. So breathing obviously is one of the core elements, one of the core techniques that we teach in hypnobirthing. So I think we can all afford to set our alarms just a little bit earlier, bearing in mind it's something that you really want. It's something that is going to benefit you, benefit your baby. Even setting an alarm 5 minutes earlier in the morning, 10 minutes earlier, if at all possible. I know that some expectant couples, they're not first-time parents. They might have other children that are waking up and the rest of it. But if at all possible for yourself, setting the alarm 5-10 minutes early, where if you're with your partner, the two of you are there at that moment where you can get some breathing practice in, even if it's just that 5 minutes. I think it's also a really lovely way to start the day, especially if you're still working up until those late months or those late weeks of pregnancy. You don't necessarily want to be jumping out of bed straight away as soon as that alarm goes off. It's nice to be able to ease yourself into the day with this nice relaxing breathing pattern. And I would say the same again in the evening time. It's a nice way to wind yourself down. So if you were looking at bare minimum, what can I do? We're talking about 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening. Another tip I would definitely give as well is to, if you've got busy schedules yourself and your partner, book it into each other's diaries if you have to. Just set a recurring calendar. Yeah, indeed. Just set a recurring note that says, you know, 5 minutes on, you know, this evening, this is what we're going to be doing. It takes no time at all. It's something so beneficial that both partners benefit from. It's not just for the mums. I've spoken to so many boyfriends, fathers, girlfriends, whatever, who have said, you know, I did the practice, not really expecting much. I felt like I was just there to support her, but actually I had the best sleep ever, or actually I had the, you know, the better start to my day compared to when I just jump up and get going. Is she okay?
Megan wants to jump up and change position. No, no, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. I think she just maybe bonked her ankle. Yes, I agree. People sleep really well. They're practicing that deep relaxation. They're settling more than normal, maybe, especially people, women working a full-time job, women working as full-time mums at home. They need a little bit of time to themselves, and that, yes, I agree, a couple of times a day, and maybe the occasional kind of love-in where you just love bomb basically your hypnobirthing practice. So maybe your birth partner sets up something gorgeous where he, you know, is going to massage your feet and your ankles and then read you a script or listen to some self-hypnosis together and get your anchors practiced as well. So anchoring sounds and smells and touch to deep relaxation ready for birth. Okay, and a lot of people have already got that kind of thing, so maybe their partner, you know, strokes their hair or gives them a massage as they're going off to sleep. The wonder and the gorgeousness of that is something that you just keep on doing. Affirmations, be they texted to you each day by your birth partner, be they written on post-it notes and stuck up on the front door so you're reminded every time you leave that you are strong and healthy and looking forward to birthing your baby. And affirmations put up on the wall next to your toilet, so that every time you sit there several times a day, you're reading through and you're thinking, yes, I will birth my placenta easily and my womb will heal and seal. All of this stuff, these affirmations over and over, that repetition really works. And affirmations, why they work, how we use them, and in terms of messaging them, there's a fantastic app called Word Swag that I love, that you can make your own little memes. So if you want to say something, you know, with a picture, as in the keep calm and carry on style sort of things, you can pick a picture that you like and then type that message on the top. You know, I trust in my birthing body. Ding, send, done. And she receives it and she's happy with it.
So nice.
Yeah. What would
that's nice actually, because it's a sort of togetherness activity, isn't it? Just looking forward to what message your partner is going to send you today. That's really nice. I would definitely add to that, especially when you're creating your own, just to remember to keep them positive. Just going back to what we said earlier about reframing. So I'll do some work together with it in a group sometimes, where we'll sit down and we'll write some affirmations, or the groups will do affirmations themselves. And it's so easy to slip into writing something like, I'm not scared of birth, which is great because you don't want to be scared of birth. But what is actually more powerful and more effective is to say, I am calm and confident about birth. So saying what you want to be as opposed to what you don't want to be, I think is a really big plus there.
That is a really good plus. And I want to say something else, but I know that our focus tonight is just on practice, so I'll save that for a later date. So just to recap, you're watching us. This is Tracy and I'm Sophie, and this is baby Meg, who's staying up late tonight, just to make the whole experience a bit edgy and stressful. I'm fine. I know how to calm down. And we've talked through why we practice, how long you should practice, how frequently, maybe doing a bit of breathing, and using affirmations. Let's just go back to breathing, Tracy. Why?
Yes.
Why not just walk through life breathing really tensely? What difference does it make anyway?
The way we breathe actually makes a really big difference to the way we feel emotionally. I think if I could get you to do an exercise right now, I'm hoping that everybody watching is calm and relaxed, but when you are in a state where you're feeling a little bit stressed, a little bit anxious, if you were to bring your attention to your breath, you'll probably notice that it's quite shallow and probably quite up here at the top part of your chest. What we teach in hypnobirthing is this nice, deep, calm, relaxing breath. I don't prescribe a particular count for the breath. I always say to a pregnant woman, just as much as you can breathe in, because of course your lung capacity may reduce, may change as baby grows, etc. So it's about being comfortable, but also getting used to taking this nice deep inhalation. So you're fully oxygenating your body. And obviously at the time comes when you're in labour, you're helping your womb to get all the oxygen it needs as well. And then you're taking this nice long breath outwards. And it's this outwards relaxing breath that helps to produce oxytocin, which, as we probably all know, is the hormone of labour. It's a hormone of love. It helps labour get going, helps your surges to be nice and strong and powerful and juicy. So we want to practice the breathing now. So while we're pregnant, before baby gets here, again, just so we know what it actually feels like to take these nice full breaths and to perceive the difference that it makes in the way we feel. So one of the things that I definitely recommend is, we spoke about morning and evening, spending some time with your partner doing this breathing exercise, but I actually wholly encourage people to use it in the hurly-burly of everyday life as well. And I say to everybody that I am a hypnobirther, because to this day I still use this hypnobirthing breath. So if you're out and about, maybe, you know, in a big crowd trying to get on a tube or a busy bus, that's a perfect opportunity, I would say.
Between
Indeed, exactly. It's a perfect opportunity to practice that breath, and perhaps take the time just to notice where there might be any stress or tension held in your body. And as you breathe out, as you do this nice, long, slow breath out, just allow that tension to melt away. So whether it's the furrow of your brow or your shoulders are feeling uptight, just let that drop and ease out. and just notice the difference in your body. And it's exactly the same when you're birthing. If you start to feel surges and you're kind of like, oh, you know, what's this unfamiliar sensation? I knew it was coming, but didn't know what it was going to feel like. Just being able to know that actually when I feel tension, I breathe like this, and it melts that tension. That's like a nice sort of trigger there for you. And it makes all the
Melts
difference.
tension, just like your
Exactly.
cervix melts and opens. Oh, I
Exactly.
love melt. They use that in my
Good word.
labour. It could just give me a recollection of my midwife saying to me, your cervix, it could just melt at any time.
Indeed.
Hypnobirthing midwife, brilliant language.
It's good language,
Yeah.
nice soft language, indeed. And in fact, that's that language there that you're speaking about makes me think about visualizations that we can use to help alongside when mum is in labour, even again as part of her practice as she's preparing for baby. What can we say about visualization? So there's a huge mind-body connection. I think probably everybody knows this, pregnant or not, hypnobirthing or not. A lot of the things we put into our mind can have a profound effect on what actually happens within our body. So as Sophie's just mentioned, this language the midwife was using of melt, you can imagine that, you can almost picture this cervix just being soft and pliable and yielding to the pressure of the baby bearing down. And that's helping your body to kind of release and let go, which is exactly what you want to happen during this part of the labour. So in visualizing things that are kind of conducive or helpful to what's happening in labour when you're birthing your baby, can again help your body to get itself into that state. So whether that is visualizing a soft rosebud going from a closed type bud opening its lovely soft petals, anything like that can be really, really useful. Some people find it helpful to maybe imagine things that are soft and open, so perhaps the ripples on a pond gently expanding outwards, anything like that, anything that works for you. Sometimes people say, oh, I can't visualize. If you think you can't visualize, then I'd ask you to remember, because we can all remember. So if you want to think of something that is maybe soft and upwards, because we know that our uterus has an up wave-like motion when we're in surge, perhaps picture the waves that you've seen gently lapping against the shore of a beach somewhere. We can all anchor to something that we have seen in our own lives. I taught a couple last week who spoke about a hot air balloon ride that they'd been on together. And also, while they were in that hot air balloon, watching the sunrise as well. So they had kind of two lovely up visuals that were real life experiences.
And I'm sorry to say, but it is that up. The muscles are drawing up and back, and they're opening in there. But there's always a moving forwards. There's always a kid moving forwards and down. So there's always a kind of movement towards birthing. And it's, there's that classic hypnobirthing visualization of the opening rose, the peony, and yet after, I don't know, 3 years of teaching about the rose and things, I started to get a bit frustrated. I wanted it to be a bit more interesting for me as a teacher. So I asked women for their information. Tell me what it was like when they imagined this happening, this melting, this opening. And the information that came from them was so interesting. And yes, sometimes it is a flower, and sometimes it is a balloon. Sometimes it's a uterus. Sometimes it's the sort of suggested visualizations that we get from Marie Mongan or Catherine Graves. And yet other times it's not. And it's phenomenal. It's so interesting. And it also gives you an insight into how how visual somebody is, or how touchy-feely they are. And so maybe you guys watching this and preparing for birthing, where maybe you're watching it back later, maybe you're watching us live, we're doing our best. I'm trying to keep Megan still and calm and focus on this. So practice just spending a little bit of time thinking about the visualization. What's it like when you imagine that surge, that opening of your super duper wonderfully strong muscles in your womb, What's that like? Is it like a rose, or is it like something else? And does that something else have a feeling, a colour, a shape? Whereabouts is it? What's it like? And then maybe draw it or talk to your partner about it and see what it is. And don't worry, whatever your unconscious mind, your body gives you, use it. Be anything. So in my experience, we've got everything from salad cream, jellyfish, to dolphins, to paddle boarding, to Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, because he's soft and squidgy. So all of that I couldn't give to a woman because I couldn't make it up for her. She's given me that data, and I find that really fascinating. So one of the things that triggered us doing this live was the threads on the group, the hypnobirthing group, people just saying, oh, I don't really know about practice. And then someone came on the other day, and I haven't written her name down, my apologies, but she's like, I'm doing this. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah.
And I felt a little bit guilty in my pregnancy that I wasn't doing enough practice. But then I forgave myself because I was like, you're teaching 5 classes a week. I think that's enough.
Pretty busy.
Birthing, practice, reading scripts. And then, I did put the affirmations up in the bathroom and stuff. Yeah, and visualizations and the mind-body connection matter a great deal. For the birthing phase as well, I think it's useful to have another idea for that. And for me, I always think of turbocharged launch mode, something that's fast and powerful. And yeah, Megan shot out like a cannonball, turbo blasted. But maybe that's because for like 500 times or something I've said that and I believe it, and I've told my body that. Who knows? Yes. So I don't know how much time we've been on for, Tracy, but is there anything else that you'd like to add?
I think we've gone through the main parts, actually, haven't we? Yeah, I think that's probably it in our 20-minute nutshell.
Cool. Okay, well, just a quick thank you to Tracy, who's been adminning our group for, I don't know, 3 years? Something, maybe, 4? A long time. So thank you for that. Because there's a lot of work that goes on by volunteers behind the scenes. And I know that we're plugging our stuff on Facebook Live and on the thread, but we figure that's fair enough because we've been running the group for a while. It's nearly 6 years old. Thank you for watching. And we'll be in touch about the next one. We've got some podcasts coming out next week that we recorded today with Tracy. And this has been Sophie Kirkham and Tracy Atware. And we will put your details up in the thread. And if anybody's interested in one of Tracy's self-hypnosis tracks, then just tag Tracy in the comments. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Megan.
Bye. Bye.